There we go.
Okay.
You might just give a brief overview of what
Yeah.
we've discussed and
Yeah.
approved.
As a quick recap, since I forgot to start the recording earlier, we have introduced Amy Golden and me, Alexa Wilson, as new board members. Then I was elected chairperson, and Mike Moreland was elected treasurer. And we have decided that we're waiting to appoint a clerk until we have a manager and see if we can pawn that off on the manager. Okay, and next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And since I wasn't there, and the minutes don't have much of in the way of information anyway, but since I wasn't there, Mike, have you had a chance to look at the minutes?
I did, and they look good to me, so I will make a motion to approve minutes of December 15th, 2022 regular board meeting as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second for a vote. Mike,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
and I for me. Motion carries unanimously. Upcoming meeting dates. Do we need to discuss that in any way?
I'll make a motion that we approve the upcoming meeting dates of Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. and Wednesday, April 15th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. Wednesday, May 10th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m.
That was actually April 5th. You said 15th.
Oh, sorry, April 5th.
Okay.
I second the motion to approve the upcoming meeting dates.
I would just like to discuss, I think going forward here, I think the next 12 months are going to be pretty busy. I would just suggest that we keep it on a monthly basis until we deem it ready to go back to quarterly meetings. Just my opinion.
I think that might work. And we can just play it by ear. If we come to a meeting and we have nothing to discuss, then we wait and we know
Sure.
that we can wait.
I agree.
Okay, so do we need to vote on this? I guess we do, huh?
Yes, we do.
Mike?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
And an aye from me. Motion carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is public comment. Does anyone other than the board members want to avail themselves of the opportunity to say something? No? There's this little hand thingy you can push if you want. Just want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity. Okay, I'm not sure if this is probably not the right spot to do it, but I'm not sure where the right spot is, so I want to make sure that somewhere there is an expression of appreciation to the ones that went before, to Jim and to Tom. I've done this work and know that it's not easy. So I want to make sure that that is on the record, and the same goes for Chip. He's not that interested in what we're doing anymore, but just in case he listens or he listens to the recording at some point, I want to make sure that that the new board, who's now going to be looking for his replacement, thank him for the the work that he's done for over a decade. I say the board. I'm not sure I can say that because it's just me talking, and Mike and Amy can speak for themselves. So I apologize if I overstepped.
No problem.
I agree with
Anyway,
the-
anyway, then still no public comment. We'll just move on to the next item on the agenda. There's a report from the interim management, Mike and Ray. And since we are in the process of thanking, I think they deserve some of our gratitude as well for keeping the lights on in this period of transition. So I don't know, have you coordinated this, Mike and Ray? Who wants to speak?
Go ahead, Ray. I'm busy logging into the bank account if you don't mind.
Sure. So, thank you. Let me turn my volume down a little bit. I think I'm getting feedback. Do you all hear feedback? Is this okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. And just forgive me for my ignorance, but is it lady? No, Madam Chair Lady, or how do you?
You can just call me Alexa.
Okay, Alexa. Thank you.
Most people, for most people, that works just fine.
Okay. So just to let everybody know what we've been doing at North Lake Powell, there are 4 jobs that we are doing habitually. Some are daily, some are weekly, and some are monthly. Daily, Ricky Brinkerhoff, who has a lot of experience with TUID, has been doing gin checks. And when Ricky's unavailable, then Dana DeMambro does the gin checks. And that's just to make sure everything's running okay and there's no problems. Weekly, they go to the landfill and empty the town trash. And then monthly, we do the water samples and we do the meter readings. So the water samples have to be driven to Price. There's no more overnight service here. So we've just been doing it in conjunction with our offshore water samples, and then just sharing the cost with TUID on anything that comes along those lines to go to Price. Things that aren't normal, things that aren't those habitual 4 items that I listed, when something comes up or something is needed, I alert Mr. Morlang, and he gives us permission to either repair it or to delve into it. And so for the month of January, those were simple items. Servicing generator 2. On January 30th, there was a short, like 1 second brownout when the generator kicked the code. That is a low usage code, so it wasn't being used, and it kicked over and went straight to the other generator. And so we investigated that and just reset the code. And then those were the only 2 items in January that wasn't what you would consider a normal daily operation for us. So, and then what we do is we bill TUID for those charges, for the labor charges. So February 1 to present, same thing, meter reading, generator checks, hauling trash, and then water samples. Although we haven't done a water sample this month, I believe we are doing one Thursday to take up with offshore to Price. Some maintenance functions that we did with permission. We backfilled that high voltage line that was down further into the village. We repaired the furnace at the TUID office. And then Ricky pulled the fuel trailer from the landfill up to the plant and filled it using 505 gallons. So, and I already alerted Mike that he needs to bill the county for that fuel. Some further items that do need attention that you might want to consider doing this month, and you all can talk about it and let us know, is cleaning up the plant facilities and then repairing the water or sewer line behind the boat storage. And Mike knows what I'm referring to there. I can't remember, Mike, if it's water or sewer lines that's up there behind our boat storage shop.
Yeah, it's sewer. Yeah, and it was washed out in that drainage area directly behind or directly south of the boat storage.
Okay, and then the other thing is the drinking water through the Utah Department of Environmental Quality. So we ran a quick report on TUID. So all of those water samples that we turned in December, which is pretty extensive for public utility, they all came back and they're all showing on your report. And the only one that's not showing on your report is the radionuclides. And those are, natural occurring or man-made radioactive elements. Although that test was done by Tim Kelly and Ricky, Tim investigated and found out that it can take up to 3 to 6 months before they have the actual reports, because it does take some time. So all of the water for TUID is in good shape, just waiting on that one report. Now at Offshore Marina, I recently completed the cross connection control plan, and I'm right in the middle of updating our drinking water source protection plan. And yesterday, somebody from the water board came out, and they were just doing a quarterly or biannual check on things. And so he came to Tim Kelly and asked him about if there was anything going on. And as they got to talking about the plans that we're updating, he did say that usually all the facilities have to have the same schedule. So I don't know if TUID has an updated cross connection control plan, or if they have a drinking water source protection plan updated. I'm sure you have one, but you just need to update it. And with your permission, we can go through the records in the office just to look at those two things. If you want to wait until you get a manager in place, that's fine too, but that is something you might want to take a look at.
In last meeting's minutes, it mentions the source protection plan review. And it's Mr. Shortreed reported to the board that he had reviewed the protection plan for both wells, and given there is no imminent construction or agricultural projects in the near future, they stand as written with no contamination concerns at this time.
Good news. That pretty much eliminates having to worry about the DWSP, but does it say anything on the cross connection?
No.
Okay. Well, we can look into that, or we can talk about it later.
Well,
And then-
probably, I'm fine with you looking into that if you have time.
Sure. Lastly, I just wanted to let you know some things. I had Ricky Brinkerhoff give me a list of items that probably need to be taken care of this month in February. I'm assuming that you're going to have somebody in place sometime in March. I think you're given till the end of February for the applications and stuff. So this should get through February, maybe early March. But generator 3 does have 100 hours until the next service. Generator 2 has 200 hours until the next service. So with permission, those hours come quickly. We can do the service on those. Your Caterpillar number 3 has
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Just to dispel a little of my ignorance, what does it entail to have a service after 100 hours? Is that like lots of work, or?
Every one of them takes him less than an hour.
Mhm.
Mike, there might be more to it than what I'm going to say, but I think it's just oil change and oil filter change, or sometimes not oil change, just oil filter change.
Mm-hmm.
Is that,
Mhm.
am I
Air
correct?
filtering, yeah, just basic
Yeah.
visual maintenance and
Yeah, they need service every so often, Alexa, and Ricky's been handling them as they've come available, and it takes him about an hour or less to complete a service job.
Yeah, I would appreciate if you just keep doing it. I mean, there's no point falling behind and stuff like that.
Okay, the cat number 3, C9, oil cooler leaking oil. Ricky suggests that might be a situation. I'm gonna have Dana look at that, but it might be a situation where you have to call in the Caterpillar people. Number 2 and number 3 needs new fan and water.
Those are TUID assets. TUID owns those machines.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. yes. Yeah, everything in the gen building up there, all the generators, all that's TUID equipment.
And again, if that is stuff you're using, and stuff that needs to be maintained, I'm for just go do it. Nothing ever gets better if you ignore it.
Yeah, definitely. We've been working on that, Ray and I, from the get-go, early on in December or late December. Ray notified me that Ricky said it was due for one of the gens was due for service, and I just authorized him to go ahead and do it. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me, and I appreciate Ray going through the channels and asking, and I'll just keep approving it every time we need to do it because got to stay up on that maintenance. I believe I was looking through my notes. I believe the CAT service, so it's basically just like your car, Alexa, an oil change, air filter. It's every 500 hours. Those machines need to be serviced. And then also in my notes from the minutes last month, the cross connection plan and all that's done and approved. It's all turned in, so we're good there.
Okay.
Maybe another opportunity to work on my ignorance. What's the cross connection plan?
So prevents cross connection, or maybe you know better terminology, Ray. I've just, from what I've learned from being on the board here, a real good example of it, someone's sprinkler system on their lawn not having a backflow prevention, and if your main line, main water line lost pressure, and it creates a siphon and sucks the water out of your yard into the potable water system, that type.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically backflow prevention, and I just wrote the whole plan for offshore, and offshore is not as complicated as the district. So it was just time consuming, but it was fairly simple. But for TUID, it might require a little bit more effort. But it sounds like it's complete, and that's I think that's once every 6 years, right, Mike, to update.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then going on there, then the number 2, number 3, C9 needs new fan and water pump belts, alternator belts, and I'll send this information to you, Mike, so you could look it over. And then number 1, C15 coolant block heater not working. Moving on to the R5 485, the SCADA data link faulty, and I believe the way Ricky explained that to me is that's just the that enabled chip to plug the plant into a monitor, so that he could notice if anything happens without actually being in the gen house, and that's faulty. It's not, and I don't believe we have a program on any of our computers to monitor that, but that might be something you'll want to think about once you have a new manager or team in place to
Sure.
to do. The number 2 well, it won't or can't communicate with the number 1 well. So if something happens to number 1 well, we have to manually run number 2 well. Part of your other assets are the Ford F350. It does need service, oil filter, fuel filter, air filter, and it really needs it very soon, like immediately if you can do that. And then the road to the cistern from the generators needs to be fixed. And that's really nothing more than just taking the Bobcat up there, or the backhoe, and just filling in a bunch of those ditches that have been created from the rains. And then Ricky said that in the past, they used to always check sewer lines in the sewer lagoon like every 2 weeks. And that hasn't been being checked, just to make sure everything's running okay and no problems. So that's something that he thinks we should add to our monthly or bi-monthly service. But we didn't want to do any of that stuff until you are aware. And then he also created an inventory of the maintenance equipment that I can send to you, Mike. It's most of everything is just like the Napa filters, how many are on hand, and then you can make a determination of what you need to do to beef that back up.
Okay. Perfect. That'd be great. And I'll look into these other things. I think that Ford truck service, if you're capable, Rick or Dana, let's get that done and make sure that thing stays on the road. If everybody else agrees with me, basic maintenance stuff, we just need to get her done.
Yeah, Dana can easily do that. We'll get the parts and just add it to any billing for February. And that's the report. Does anybody have any questions on anything that we've just gone over? we're trying to be minimalistic, but at the same time, fix it if it needs fixed. But we always contact Mike. He's probably getting tired of hearing from us when something's going on. We always buzz him to say, "Hey, you got a problem? You want us to fix it?" And he always says yes, and we do.
Not at all. I think that's a good way to go, and it's just good communication, and when we've got good communication, things seem to roll a lot easier.
Okay, and I want to say something else. I know you've and your organization Ray has graciously donated your time, and thank you for that. But I can also see how that at some point gets to be too much of a burden, and I want to make sure that you feel comfortable that if and when it does become too much of a burden, that you let us know so that you don't feel put upon, your organization doesn't feel put upon, and just know that communication is open.
But thank you, Alexa. Tim Kelly's also on the call, but if he wasn't on the call, I'd say, yeah, it's really bogging me down, but it's not true because Tim takes a lot of that burden. and Dana and Ricky, we all share the load. So, so far, nobody's made any complaints. Everybody's happy to do it, and they're all enjoying the work actually. So it's all good. We're all happy.
Okay, good. Mike, can you give us some idea about where we are financially? Or do we have to worry about our money running out in the next couple of weeks, or?
So right now where we're at, both accounts combined, so we've got a reserve account and a main account. Together we have $95,462.85. The reserve has $28,492.99, and nothing has been added to that account since December. The checking account is at $66,969.86, and that's the main account that automatic payments are going through. When we've ordered diesel fuel, they're a vendor draft ACH payment directly to the vendor. So those have been coming out. So, and all the checks payments that are coming in, I've been depositing into that main account. Right now, everything's going as smooth as can be expected, I guess. I'm working on January billing at this time. Ray's got all the meter readings to me, so I'm going through and entering those meter readings, depositing checks as they come in. Amy's been forwarding me checks as they come in down there in Tickaboo so I can get them in the account and then get them in the billing system. It's a lot, but we're keeping up with that part of things. Going forward, I might need some help with paying some bills and doing some other admin stuff in the background. It's just it's a lot. And I want to make sure that when we do get a new manager or management company, that we can hand them something in decent shape, to where it's not a huge burden right off the get-go.
That would be great. Anything else to report, Mike?
Not really. Just looking forward to getting billing done and out, and I hope that our consumers are patient and understand the transition process that we're going through. It's just things are getting out late. The first billing, December billing, was really late getting it out, and this one's definitely more on time, and learning a lot as I go, and yeah.
Amy, how about you? I can't really hear you. Is that you or me?
I'm sorry, I was muted again. Everything is fine down here. I've been checking on the office. We are having some furnace issues. Our maintenance staff, Ricky is taking care of that. We did have to order a part. The concern was when it was cold, of course, that the pipes would freeze, but I did leave some water trickling in there. So that's all going to be taken care of this week. And as Mike said, I have been checking the mail and the Dropbox for incoming bills and incoming checks and forwarding them to Mike. And other than that, as Ray said, the North Lake Powell staff really seems to be handling everything just fine. I think it will be good to get a management team or a manager in place as soon as possible. And Mike, if you do need help with any of the admin stuff, just please let me know. I'd be happy to help you any way I can.
I think it'd be good, something to set, even if it's temporary, set one of you up with access to the account, and that way we can start going through that process and getting some things paid. I think it would be good to do that at some point. And
yeah, I go to take care of that on a daily basis then, instead of having to forward everything to you, and it would just go a little quicker.
I agree with that 100%. I think from what I've learned from the billing system, it looks like our January receivables are going to be in a range of 50K. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming in. But then again, we do have some stuff coming forward that's going to be generator repair. We've got that smaller generator that's up in Salt Lake right now that needs fixed and stuff we're going to have to start thinking about.
Does that mean we can? Sorry, Amy, what are you going to say?
That was all I had.
Okay. Well, does that mean that we can move to the next agenda items about the future management? Maybe we can do a quick recap for the record. We had an informal meeting before this meeting, and we provisionally decided at that point to start working on 2 tracks to prepare for a final decision in this formal meeting to get the management of the district organized. There are 2 possibilities. We can hire a new manager who will then be in charge of the whole thing, and this person would then either already live in Tickaboo or move to Tickaboo and be Chip the second. Or we can hire a management team, a management company that would just organize the whole thing using the resources of their organization. Amy and I have been working on writing up this description, the description of the tasks that have to be performed by either this company or this person as accurately as we could. And those 2 documents are attached to this public meeting, so they're available for everyone to look at. So the proposal is to run a 2-track solicitation process. 1, do a job posting, and I believe Amy has a way to do that. And the other is in the form of an RFP for a management company, and that can be done through U3P, which is a state of Utah run website that facilitates solicitations for services. So the decision that we need to make is if we were actually going to go forward in the way I just described. Not sure how that works. Do we need to discuss this any further, or I maybe one other thing to report that I've tried to get TUID set up with their very own U3P account so that we wouldn't have to piggyback on the county and possibly create confusion with people thinking that they're going to be working for the county, while in reality it would not be a contract with the county but with TUID. And they're not really quick responding to me, but I think it might be worth it to give it an extra day to use a new account that's just ours.
Yeah, as one board member, I think it's critical that we start this process, and get moving so we can, hopefully get somebody on board sooner than later. I think it's going to be the best thing for our district. So yeah, that's just my opinion.
Amy, do you have any
Um,
comments, questions, concerns with what
I can
just described?
I can get the job posting. I'm used to using Talent Reef to recruit people, and that seems to get out to a wide range of folks. That would be just for the management position, and then assuming that that manager would hire their staff moving forward. So I think that the management team does need to go, as you said, on the county's listing, but it would be good if we could get our own. Like you said, it might get confusing.
Okay.
But I mean, we could just specify that
Yeah.
that it's not a county position; it's for a district.
Well, if
I think if you're confident, Alexa, that you'll get some input back from, setting up our own account, a couple of days ain't going to make much difference. So I was just speaking in a broad term of, we need to get it out. And I don't know if there's like in Colorado, we have what they call CREA, Colorado Rural Electric Cooperative Association. And is there anything like that in Utah that you could post these on as well? Because we're kind of looking for a utility oriented person. Maybe that'd be a good realm to advertise in.
I don't know, but we sure can find out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do some digging too.
Yeah. So if there is no further discussion, maybe we can have a motion.
I'm sorry, I stepped out to get. I got something in the mail, and I was wondering if that was a utility association that what Mike was talking about. But I'm sorry. What was the motion you were looking for?
A motion to approve the dual track RFP job posting scheme.
I make a motion to approve the dual track job posting.
All second, Alexa.
Okay, and the vote, Mike?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
And an aye from me, so that carries unanimously. I guess that concludes the agenda item. Now you are all here. I think we should organize a work meeting to make a to-do list. So that we can just make a list of all the things that we need to talk about. Every time I get an email from you, Ray, there is like, I have to dig in deeper into this, and I think this guy's going to be dug in so deep that it'll never come out. So it would make me feel better if we can just make a list and kind of prioritize and kind of have some sense of where to start rather than to kind of feel around in the dark.
Yeah, I think a public work session when we all had, a couple hours would be great.
Yeah. Shall, is this a good time to look at our calendars for that? Hey, Mike, do you know how that works? You can just publish a public work session and publish that on that public notice website and make sure that everybody has access and
Basically, thankful for
everybody can just listen in. Do we want to do that in the evening or in the middle of the day?
I'm thinking evening. And I'll tell you where this comes from. The public meeting. Somewhere in there it mentions that meetings shall be scheduled when the public has access to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why most all boards try to have their meetings in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Work sessions are a little different, like the other board that I'm on, we have them on weekends and during the day because they're not a normal reoccurring meeting.
Okay.
So it's up. I kind of like to keep everything in the evenings if we can, just because it gives everybody access. But whatever you guys can do.
Well, how about if we give ourselves 2 weeks and we go to the week of Monday the 20th? And in the meantime, we can just each make our list of things that we think of that we want to delve into.
Oh, what time, Alexa?
Sorry, I didn't get that, Amy.
What would be a good time, Mike and Alexa?
Well, I can do Monday and Wednesdays at 5:30, not on Tuesdays.
And I should be clear for either one as well at 5:30.
How about you, Amy? Can you do Monday the 20th at 5:30?
What time? 5:30?
5:30?
Sure, that works.
Okay, I'll just send out an invitation, and you mind if I send one out to you as well, Ray?
Oh, please.
Yes.
And then yeah, when we get closer and we got a plan, I will get that noticed on the public notice website, and we'll be good to go.
Yep. Right. So Amy, shall we have another quick one last read on our job description before you post it, and then we need to add when we want responses by.
Sure. Yeah. I think, did we say the 28th of February already?
That's 3 weeks. That should be good, right?
I think that I think we actually posted that, or it's in, I think we already listed that in one place. So I think 3 weeks is reasonable.
Yeah.
That gives time. It's in the near future.
Well, because the 28th of February by 5 p.m.
February the 28th by 5 p.m.
Yep.
And Mike, I think there are two organizations in the state of Utah. Amy picked up a letter. I just saw her pick it up. It said UAMPS on it.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
one. And then
yeah.
RWAU also might be another organization that you could post the job postings on.
Yeah, I know the person at UAMPS. I'll reach out, see if they actually had mentioned that they were interested back in December and if we needed help. So I will reach back out to them.
Oh, good. And I will take care of the RFP portion of it, either through the county or on our own account. And I will
I
do that.
suppose I may have to set up an account for TUID on Talent Reef. I don't know if I can use my company's account for that.
If you can set up your own account, that would probably be better.
Okay, I think it's I think we pay like $400 twice a year for that. So
I don't know.
I
Mike,
have
what do
some
you think?
perhaps I have a few other places I could use. Talent Reef might not be the best solution for that.
I mean, I'm naturally stingy.
Me too.
But I also would like to maintain kind of a separation of kind of that it's clear which hat you're wearing.
I agree.
You can use job services too, Amy.
That probably is actually the way to go because we're not trying to recruit college kids right now. So
no, please no.
Yeah. That's kind of what
I'm fully adult persons.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a great idea, Ray. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we're done for today.
Okay.
I will get the not the video because they get to be really, really big files, but the audio of this meeting, I'll get that to Mike, and can you put that on that public notice website?
Yes, I can. And also, if you would please, Alexa, send it to mail@tickabooUID.com. And then I can save a copy on this computer too.
Send it to where?
Mail@tickabooUID.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And forgive my ignorance. Do I need to post these minutes anywhere? I'm gonna have to clean them up first, but
yeah, they can also go on the open public. You call that the public notice website.
transparency.
Yeah, and you just have to put pending over the top.
Okay.
Then on our next formal meeting, we can approve them.
Okay. I'll work on that. I need to get them better organized and cleaned up, and I'll do that.
Yes, thank you. And apparently I'm getting a transcript of that. I can send that to you if that is any help to you.
That would be a tremendous help.
Okay. Mike, how do I quit this? Am I looking for a motion to adjourn? Is that how it works?
Motion that we adjourn. And I need a second, or you need a second.
I second the motion that we adjourn the meeting.
And then we need to have a motion and a second. And do we vote on that?
Yes.
Okay. We better agree. We'll be stuck here forever, Mike. Mike, your vote, please.
Yes.
Amy?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and me too. Aye. So carries unanimously. Well, thank you all. I'll send out the invitation from 2 weeks from now. I think we're making progress.
We are.
Okay, good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Talk to you later.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.